What's good, everybody? Is when I come back at you on another video. So with this video, I wanted to talk about the butterfly effect, right? This concept called the butterfly effect, and how understanding the butterfly effect can change your life for the better. Now, before we begin, of course, I have to first explain what the butterfly effect is. So, the butterfly effect is this idea that small events that appear to be unrelated or pretty much insignificant can lead to a large outcome, right? This understanding that the world and the universe, everything is all interconnected. Somehow, some way, everything is connected. And understanding this butterfly effect can actually help get you farther in life. Now, the term butterfly effect was coined because of this question that scientists, decided to pose back in the 70s, right? They said, does the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas? Now, of course, these two events seem entirely unrelated. However, when you think of a butterfly flapping its wings, of course, that leads to a gust. And we all know that a tornado is a lot of wind, a lot of gust, a lot of current that is moving in large, strong force, basically strong speeds, right? And of course, in order for that tornado to have been formed, there needed to have been gust or wind or current or some sort of like draft, whatever it is, right? You need wind, air moving in the direction. So it's this idea of, could it be possible that the butterfly who flapped its wings in Brazil, could that have been the catalyst that set off the wind that began the tornado, that made its way all the way to Texas and began the tornado in Texas, right? It's it's that idea. So that's why it's called the butterfly effect. Now, I have another definition pulled up for what the butterfly effect is, right? And I have it here for you guys. The butterfly effect is the idea that small, seemingly trivial events may ultimately lead or may ultimately result in something with much larger consequences. So it's basically the same idea that I just explained. So, what is the butterfly effect in real life? Like, what does that look like? Well, simple example that I can give you of a butterfly effect is you simply smiling at someone or giving someone a compliment, right? Because these seem to be very small, trivial things where you can think to yourself, well, what is a smile going to do? What is a compliment going to do? But you don't know if that smile or that compliment ends up going to the right person that you've never met before, that can end up starting a conversation with you, or that can end up, you can end up getting to meet or to know, and that can end up being someone that you have as a significant other, right? You've heard stories all the time of people who, it could be someone that was running late and they accidentally bumped into someone else and they apologized to each other, but then they realized that they were both attracted to each other, and then they got to know each other. They exchanged contact information because they wanted to stay in touch, because one, they were kind to each other, and then they realized that they liked each other, and like, we've heard, of course that's unlikely, right? But we've heard stories of relationships happening or marriages happening because of chance or luck or things like that, right? You can end up smiling or starting a conversation with someone random, right? You could compliment someone, and that could end up creating a friendship that will last a lifetime, right? Something that seems so small and, to some degree insignificant, can lead to something bigger, right? You can stand out in the minds of other people just by your attitude and your energy, right? Just what you need to understand is most people are either just neutral or indifferent or vibrating some negative energy. Very few people show up each and every day with the right attitude, right? So if you're one of the few people that shows up with the right attitude, you're not having the right attitude doesn't necessarily equate to you taking any sort of action, but you having the right attitude, saying the right things, having the right mindset, smiling, showing up with the right energy, that can get you far in life, because that will make you stand out in the minds of other people, right? People will think about you more often. People will want to associate themselves with you, right? These are small instances where most would say that this is, a trivial thing. Like, you're just smiling, you're just complimenting people, but that can open up so many doors and opportunities, because people will begin thinking about you and wanting to surround themselves with you, right? Another example that I can give that I've seen so many instances of, where, if we look at some professional athletes prior to them making the pros, or, when they were children, they would have barbers who would cut their hair, right? And it's very normal for people to stick with one barber, right? Usually that's what people do, right? They have that barbershop that they always go to and only get haircuts with that one barber, right? So many instances where this professional athlete, when they were kids, they were getting their haircut by the same barber. And as the barber, of course, that child is just one of many clients you have. Of course, you have many other clients that you cut hair for. However, having that relationship with that barber for all these years, when they're just cutting hair, it's not uncommon for when the athlete goes pro and is now successful, making millions, that they now basically hire their barber to cut their hair full time. And that barber now has, of course, the opportunity of a lifetime, and so many doors opened up because they were a great barber to, at the time, a child, right, that ended up going pro, and now they have a relationship of a lifetime and a bond of a lifetime, right? For something that seems to be so insignificant, of just getting a haircut, right? Like, you're just going and then you're on the chair for maybe 30 minutes or an hour every 2 weeks or every month, right? However often they go to get haircuts, right? Things like that, where you don't know where something can take you. These small actions, these small events, you don't know where that can take you. You don't know the chain of events that can lead you towards, or the doors that it can open for you in the future. So this is why you want to show up with the right attitude. This is why you always want to be respectful to people. This is why you always want to smile, and whenever you have the opportunity, right, of course, deliver genuine compliments, right? This is why you want to show up as your best self, because you don't know who might remember you. You don't know what difference you might make in someone else's life, right? I'm sure if we go through a phase where, let's just say, we may not receive or hear compliments from other people often, and you're out and about minding your business, and then a stranger gives you a compliment, or let's say you're having a bad day, and a random person comes up to you and gives you a compliment, right? That compliment could very well end up changing your entire day, because it completely changes your mood. It shifts your mood. Rather than you feeling negative or being down under the weather, that person that gave you a compliment, it can have you feeling confident again, and that could turn your entire day around. Something that seems so small and insignificant could very well change the entire trajectory of your day. And because it changed the trajectory of your day, it could very well change the trajectory of your week and the month, right? Like, you just don't know. This is what I mean. This is what the butterfly effect is. It's the idea that something that appears to be so small and insignificant, an event, whatever it is, that it can lead to major changes, either now in the present or in the future. And and I'll give you guys another example of the butterfly effect happening too, right? Say, for example, you owned a deli, right? Say you guys sell sandwiches, and say someone goes and orders a sandwich and goes up to the cash register to pay, right? Say the person that's paying checks their wallet and realizes that they're 10 cents or 50 cents short of the sandwich that is supposed to cost $10, right? Usually in protocol, if that person is short of change, usually you're not supposed to sell them the item, because they don't have enough money to purchase the item, right? But this person that's paying insists that, right now they don't have the money, that they made a mistake, that next time, tomorrow, they'll come around and, make sure they'll cover the rest. And, like someone that's genuinely honest, that just genuinely didn't have the money on them. If the person that's working behind the register continues to say no and basically prevents them from buying the sandwich, right, Of course, they did their job, technically speaking, right? However, that person that didn't have, that was 50 cents short of the sandwich, right? That person may never want to come back to this restaurant ever again, to the deli ever again, because of that minor experience. So the person at the register may not know that the individual that's buying the sandwich, that this individual works across the street from this deli and that they come here often, or this could have been their first time trying to purchase a sandwich at the deli, but because they were turned away because they were 50 cents short, now they won't ever go here again. And this person works across the street, and they could have, if they've enjoyed that meal and had that experience, they very well could keep showing up to the deli every day to buy food. So rather than with $10, right, that $10 sandwich that they got turned down for could have very well ended up being hundreds or thousands of dollars of business in the future, because if that person got turned away that first time, they may never come back to the deli again, so that's business has lost. Or if they had a good experience, then they'll continue going back and pretty much every day to keep buying food there every day. That could end up being their favorite place, so they're a repeat customer. And then they may very well recommend this deli to their coworkers, to people in the area, that could be their favorite place, and that could bring in additional business, word of mouth, right? So this is another example of the butterfly effect, right? The employee, the cashier, technically did their job because the person trying to purchase a sandwich didn't have the full $10. They were 50 cents short. But the person that was trying to purchase a sandwich that got turned away, because they got turned away, they're not going back to this deli ever again. So that $10 that was missed out on ended up being missed repeat business. And so this is why, if you're operating your business, this is why you want to be kind and respectful to everyone. Even if someone is being rude and having a tough day, you can still understand and recognize that it may just be them, that just might be who they are, or that it might be that they're just having a bad day and they are not aware that they're taking out their frustrations on you. But that's okay. You don't have to get to their level. You can still be respectful and still have a smile and still do good business. This is why you want to treat everyone with kindness and respect, because you don't know what it could lead to, right? You don't know what opportunities, what doors it could open, right? You never know if you're running a restaurant, you never know if you delivering that amazing platter of food could be towards someone that ends up falling in love with the dish so much that they want to end up being an investor in your business. Even if you never thought about having multiple locations, someone can love your food so much that they feel as though they need to go in business with you and open up more locations, right? Like, you don't know. So this is why you want to remain positive. This is why you want to have the right energy, and you want to show love and respect to every human being, because everything in the universe is all connected. You don't know what you don't know, right? Oftentimes we think we're so smart as humans and we have all the answers, but you don't know what's in store in the future, right? And you don't know the chain reaction that events could have. So this is why you want to play your part in doing everything right. So I'm hoping that these examples that I presented to you showcases the butterfly effect and what this actually means, that small events can have a big effect, a big outcome in the future. Person that got turned away at the deli, because they got turned away that one time, they're probably never going to go. So that's hundreds if not thousands of dollars of business that's down the drain because over 50 cents, right? It sounds silly, but it happens. It's true. If you had a bad experience with a business, chances are you're not going to continue giving that business money or business, right? And you're probably not going to recommend it to friends. That's how it all works, right? So it's a domino effect, it's a chain reaction. So that's why you want to always be on your best behavior. You want to show up with the right attitude, and you want to try your best to do right by other people at all times. So that rest of the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe, as we are on the road to 1 million subscriber, guys. Once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.